Start the record and get started with this. So this is chapter 3, the art of work. So again, please pay attention. It's another 50 or so minutes. So avoid any distraction. If possible, from the next week, use a laptop so your phone is not constantly distracting you. And take notes if possible. Be active, ask questions, share your thoughts when I open up the discussion, and immerse yourself for the next 50 or so minutes. And after the session, before the next session, try to read the chapters, the translations, and review your notes. If you want to discuss with someone, please find someone in the call. Or if you miss a recording, please listen to it. If you miss a session, please listen to the recording. So chapter 3, it is art of work or karma yoga in Sanskrit. So this chapter has in total 43 verses, and we're going to divide that into 4 sections. You could divide it in many, but this is a kind of a logical divide that I thought is makes more sense. So the first 7 verses presents the confusion of Arjuna and the immediate clarification given by Krishna. So if you see, Arjuna expresses his uncertainty about balancing spirituality with worldly life. You're asking me to fight the war, and you're also asking me to be spiritually steady, have steady wisdom, follow buddhi yoga. That's what he said in the chapter 2. So on one side, you're asking me to be very spiritual, very sense controlled and focused and meditative, and on the other side, you're asking me to participate in a war. So how is this contrast that I can actually balance? So we all have this question. I'm a student, I'm a mother, I'm a working professional, I have such busy life. And how do I balance spirituality in my life? So it's not easy, but there is a way to do it. And I would say there is no other alternative than to learn to harmonize these things. You cannot just go for one thing. Both are necessary. So how do we actually balance both? So this chapter is one of the most relevant chapters for all practicing spiritualists in their daily life. So the first section presents that confusion of Arjuna. Arjuna represents us and presents that confusion that we all have. How do I balance this demanding daily life, professional life, personal life with with my spiritual life? So this is the first section, and in the next section, Krishna actually says, okay, can we just walk away and live in a forest? What do you guys think? Just because it's so difficult to balance daily life, personal life, professional life, manage finance, all of these things, is it okay, we just give up everything, let's go to forest and live happily? Is it that easy? So that's what Arjuna is going to think. Oh, let me just go to forest, I'm okay to even be a beggar. But do you think it's a very sound argument to make? No, right? Because it sounds more emotional. Because something is so difficult, he just wants to avoid duty. So is it physically possible for any of you to just go give up everything, go to live in a forest today? Maybe you like it, but is it physically possible, so easy?
Sorry, I just have a doubt. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
So, the answer to your question is, of course, no. We should not abandon our earthly duties, just renounce everything and go to the forest.
Mhm.
However, in today's life, we are also valuing, reducing the material needs that we have. Like,
Mhm.
instead of buying, 50 dresses, we can just have 5 to 6 dresses and we should be content. Like, we are trying to live a minimalistic life, isn't it? Instead of having a house which has 5 rooms, a house which has 2 rooms would also be okay.
So we are
So
going to
then,
explore the solution for these questions through the chapter. So what is it
but
that you wanted to share to be like
yeah, but then, like, if we can apply this to, like, going to the forest, like being minimalistic to our life, then why wouldn't it be a solution as well? Like, why wouldn't going to the forest and giving up everything that is material would not be a solution?
If I understand you rightly, you're saying if we are trained on becoming minimally living happily, at one point, why is it a problem to give up everything and go to a forest?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what Krishna is going to arrive at. So that's what Krishna is going to arrive at. That is the whole understanding of the Varnashram, also the stages of different stages of life. So this is exactly Krishna is going to answer your question in the chapter. So stay tuned, Purva. Thank you for a very like apt and very keen observation. So that is that okay? Yeah. So in the second section, so that's what Krishna is going to answer. Like, is it physically very easy to give up everything? May not be possible for everybody. Is it mentally very easy for someone? Okay, just suddenly give up everything and go to forest. No, people can become crazy. Mentally, it could be very unsettling, and spiritually also, it is not very sustaining because the sense disturbances will come. So in this way, Krishna is going to guide Arjuna through the sections uh, 2 and 3 from the verses 8 to 16, that I'm calling it here as action, and the section 17 to 35 as detachment. In these two sections, Krishna is going to guide Arjuna. Why is it important to develop detachment first and then renunciation later? As Purva was saying, if somebody is used to living a very detached, minimalistic life in their daily lives, it would be easy to renounce later if needed. So Krishna speaks about all these things in the middle two sections. What is work? How to do it in a way we will not be affected by sins. And even if we are advanced, what are the ways to live your life? Even if you have become completely detached, should you give up and go, or is there any other option? And the last topic, Arjuna asked Krishna, I understand everything. It's not very difficult. I really get what you're saying, but I just don't uh, understand that why sometimes, in spite of knowing everything, I'm not able to follow these things. I know what is the right thing to do, but I'm not able to always do it. And what is the reason? So it's a very important question for all of us. We all know a lot of knowledge, but it's not very difficult to apply that knowledge in our daily lives. And that's what Arjuna is going to ask in this section. So, do you think this chapter is relevant for your life? How many of you think this chapter is very relevant for your life? So, raise your hands. So, what is one of that question which really speaks to your heart? Be very concise. Tell the question in a short way. Yes. Who would like to go? Which of these questions that we discussed really resonates with you? I even sent a poster with some more questions.
The part where we know what is right, but
Mhm.
sometimes you're not able to
Able to do
follow
it.
that.
Perfect, Purva. That's my favorite question also. Anybody else? Yes, Vibhushan Prabhu.
Roji, this which you've put on the group, like why does sense enjoyment feel so natural?
So natural.
This
Yes.
so
That's
yeah.
also a very apt question. Thank you for yes. Anybody else? Any other question that you're looking forward to be answered in the session?
Yeah, how to like make my work life more spiritual because they
Virtual. Yes, our
everyone
model
knows.
also works as he is giving medical care to people. So it's really a very important service to the society, and making it more spiritual would be nourishing to you and also very helpful for others whom you're taking care. So thank you for your service and choosing that profession and being very passionate about it. Thank you. And so in the coming verses, we will discuss that how in this chapter as we saw the four sections, where Arjuna's confusion is the first section, and the importance of action. It could be sakama initially, but the importance of action in itself is discussed, and then action with detachment. Yes, everybody acts in this world. Who's not acting in this world? Everybody is busy in this world, right? Being busy is the symptom of Kali Yuga. So being busy is one thing, but how do you be busy with intelligently busy, purposeful action? How do you do that with detachment? And what is the obstacle? nothing good you want to do in this world can just happen very naturally. It's not possible. Anything you want to do, a good thing, you want to study, you want to dance, you want to do art, you want to be a good son, you want to be a good parent, anything you want to do in this world, there is an obstacle, there is a problem. So there are some internal work that one needs to do. External work is okay, but there is some internal work that we need to do so that we can externally act properly. Do you all agree? There is some internal work we all need to do. See, as students, you want to study, but you also have a football match. So then there is a conflict. What do I do now? So there is an internal work that you need to do so that you can externally be very clear in what you're doing. So we will check out all these sections. So the first section is the 1 to 7 verses. What is happening here? Arjuna is expressing his confusion. So what is Arjuna's problem? Krishna already explained it, right? Krishna very clearly explained in the chapter 2 also, you're not this body, you're a spirit soul. If you act, there will be no sins. You should be able to, you'll be free. You will get a kingdom. If you die, you will go to heaven. If you die, you will go to heaven. If you win, you will get a kingdom. So there is nothing to lose for you. But still Arjuna is confused. And we will see why he is confused. And the reason Arjuna is confused is because in the course of explaining the second chapter, Krishna said, avoid all abominable action. Durena hi avaram karma buddhi yogat dhananjaya. He said, give up all kinds of bad actions and be situated in buddhi yoga. So Arjuna is thinking, killing others is a bad action, is it not? Killing others is a bad action. So why should I kill people in the war? So I don't think it's a good action. So I think I should not fight. Then why is Krishna asking me to fight? So why is this confusion happening? What is the reason? So that is why Arjuna is confused. And Krishna is going to explain in the verse 3 that there are two paths of self-realization. You see, there are two paths. One is you can develop knowledge and renounce everything and go to forest. It's possible for some people. And there is another path where you develop knowledge through working in the world. So Krishna is saying both are actually possible. But he says for Arjuna, for you, working with knowledge in this world is better than giving up work. And he says, actually, just giving up work will not free you from sins. And just by giving up everything and going to forest, you will not become a perfect person. And then he says, even to maintain our own selves, we have to work. So not even a single moment we can avoid work. Can any of you not do something for say for example, for 1 hour? Can you just not do something? At least you'll be thinking, right? Some action is going internally, if not externally. So Krishna says, what to speak of 1 hour, even a moment, a person cannot actually not do something. At least we will think something. Oh, I'm not doing anything. I'm bored. Why? When this will end? So why is this happening to me? Some thoughts will come to us. So in that way, we cannot be just not do anything, even for a moment. So Krishna is saying, then what to speak of giving up everything and going to forest? In the forest, you will not be able to maintain it. So that is why it is very important to understand why we should give up or how to act in this world so that eventually we can develop renunciation. So in this section, we will, as we just said, Arjuna has a bias. Have you ever heard of this saying, which says a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still? Have you ever wanted a new shoe and your parents are explaining to you, you already have 10 shoes, so why do you need? And you say, okay. And then you go to the shop and you throw tantrums in the shop. They already explained to you at home. You did agree, okay, no problem. But once you go to the shop, you start throwing tantrums because you are a man convinced against his will and you are of the same opinion still. So here Arjuna is very similar. He wants to give up, fight and run away. Krishna said, no, what is the right thing to do? Understand, Arjuna says, okay, I do understand. But immediately, again, the same question comes out because he is not changed internally, he is not convinced. He is just convinced against his will. So he is of the same opinion still. So he's saying, oh, Krishna, I want to give up everything and I want to go to forest and be a yogi. So Krishna is like, I explained to you in 72 verses in chapter 2, Arjuna. I spoke 72 verses. And again, the same question. Okay, Krishna is like, okay, you didn't get it. So I'll explain it in more detail. Because if Arjuna accepted, what would have happened? Chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita end. We would have only had first chapter 46 verses, second chapter 72 verses. It would have been a very shorter Gita. We would have only had 100 plus verses. But thanks to Arjuna, he did not accept so easily. So Krishna is thinking, okay, I gave Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, everything in second chapter in concise. But this guy does not understand. So now I have to elaborate on Karma Yoga. So that's why Krishna is elaborating on Karma Yoga from chapter 3. He presented everything, all the rest of the 18 chapters, the 16 chapters are there in chapter 2. But because Arjuna was not convinced, Krishna had to elaborate. So Krishna understands this guy internally is not convinced. So he starts to explain everything. So he explains to Arjuna that how Arjuna's confusion is due to his bias, is coming from his confusion. What is the true nature of renunciation? How Purva asked. So what is the difference between living minimally and why it is not like renunciation, and what is wrong in becoming renunciant? So these are the questions Arjuna is also confused about. So Krishna is going to help Arjuna by clarifying that how if you perform your duty with detachment, so that is a path to spiritual growth. You naturally develop detachment internally, and eventually you come to a stage where you will be even okay to give up everything and go to forest. That will come, but you have to start somewhere, right? You don't become a PhD. Where do you begin? You begin in kindergarten. You start with ABCD, and then you go to PhD. So similarly, going to forest is not a one-day thing. Everybody sees you off, and you have a Instagram post or a Facebook post. Oh, I'm going to forest, I'm leaving everything, thank you all, I'm closing down my social media accounts, and everybody sees you off. It's not a one-day event, it's for the rest of your life. What will you do in the forest? How will you occupy your mind? What will you become busy with? Because we are always busy. So that's why Krishna is saying inaction, just giving up everything, is not a protection from sinful reactions. Because what causes reaction is not our actions, but our motivations. Especially if we have selfish motivation, that causes the reactions to our life, good or bad, both comes through our motivation. So Krishna is saying, instead of giving up action, refine your motivation. Any of you remember what are the 4 levels of motivation we saw in the last chapter? We saw 4 levels of motivation in chapter 2. Anybody remembers? Yes? Mahidar?
Um, Fear,
Yes.
desire, duty, and love.
Amazing. Thank you. So it is fear, desire, duty, and love. So there are many motivations. It's good to start somewhere to do your duty, but it's better to have a best motivation. So that's what Krishna is saying. Instead of doing it for selfish motivation, it's better to do it for in the mood of service. So anyway, you will not have sinful reactions. So why worry? So the lessons here is Krishna is saying, live your life, not somebody else's life, right? We all go through Instagram. What do we think? Oh my God, they're having the best of their life. How many times have you seen someone's latest selfie in the best of vacation spots? They are in some place and they say hashtag living my best life. And you're like, oh my God, I'm missing out something. We don't understand. We have a life to live. We don't need to live somebody else's life. Every one of us have unique talents, unique circumstances in life. unique natures. So we can live according to, somebody may be an artist, somebody may be a actor, somebody may be a simple software engineer, somebody may be a student. We may have different economic situations, financial constructions. So many things are very different in each one of our lives. We don't need to copy somebody else's life. That's a problem with social media. Instagram shows us everybody else's life, but we don't understand what is our life. So Krishna is saying, live your life, Arjuna, not others. Just because it is very difficult, so don't think some yogi's life in the forest is so easy, so let me just give up and become a yogi. No, life is precious. So let's not waste it by living someone else's life. Try to understand what is your nature, what is your purpose, how you can contribute to yourself and others in this life. So by acting responsibly, by knowing what is your purpose in life, by acting responsibly, that leads to internal growth. You will become a self-aware individual. You will become a purposeful individual. So Krishna is saying, become responsible. It will lead to internal growth. And Krishna is saying, develop mental discipline. Don't compare yourself with others, because comparison is the thief of joy. And not all of us may be able to do great things, but we all can do even small things with great love. That's what matters. We may not be the best of the cooks, but whatever simple we are cooking, if we cook with love and serve with attention and appreciation and love for our family, that's what nourishes. How many of us can eat in restaurants every day? After a few days, you feel bored. But we have grown up eating our mom's food every day. Sometimes we may get bored, not because the food is not good, just because our mind is like wants something new. But that's the best thing for your health. How many of you agree? The outside food may be tasty once in a while, but there's nothing like healthy and tasty like home cooked meals. So the same way, we all can do we may not be able to do great things, attractive things that we could post on our Instagram every day, and the world is going, wow, this is amazing, and you have 100,000 love symbols, likes, and comments, and your life may not be happening like that. You may not be a celebrity. However, you can do small things in your life with great love, find satisfaction, purpose, and contribution to you and those who are surrounding you. So there is no need to be a celebrity. Modern world is teaching everybody either you're a celebrity or you are a nobody, and you have to be frustrated. You have to be like depressed about it that you are not a celebrity, because it's a culture of like celebrities now with the social media. So it's better to live our lives according to our circumstances, nature, and find our own purpose, and do it with the perfect love and care that you can. So that way we will live a fulfilling life. We may not be living a celebrity life, but we can live a fulfilling life, every single one of us. So that's what Krishna is saying in this section. And since Purva had this question, so here we will check what is the difference between detachment, living minimally, as Purva put it, and what is the difference, and what is renunciation, and what is the difference between them, and why not renunciation? Purva is eager to know, why can not I give up and go and be in the forest? So let's see what Krishna is explaining. So Krishna explains how the nature of detachment, it is internal. Nature of renunciation is external. It's very odd. I'm sometimes speaking about being in the world and working, but I'm wearing saffron, a sign of giving up the world. But you see, even I'm wearing this, but still I'm very much part of the world. In contributing what I'm learning in my own space and trying to share it with others and trying to help others. So in one way, you would say it's not of the society, but still within the society. So it's to the credit of Srila Prabhupada that he has devised this way that we are out of the society, but I'm still within the society. So that's very unique to this system. But here what we are discussing is this renunciation is the traditional renunciation, giving up everything, going to Himalayas, being a yogi. So that's what is the kind of renunciation we are discussing here. We are not discussing the kind of renunciation we are trying to follow in ISKCON, like the brahmacharis or the sannyasis. We are very much part of the society. So the kind of renunciation we are speaking about is giving up everything, no connection with everything, no connection with the society, and just being in the forest. So that kind of a renunciation we're speaking about. So the detachment is internal, trying to live minimally, reducing our needs, and not wanting to, not being greedy for new things, the new fashion, the new iPhone 15 or the Pro or the new gadget, new shoe. We do have everything, but we just want, for the sake of having new, wanting to impress our classmates, our neighbors, our friends, our other family members. We don't want things just for the sake of it. So that is detachment. So that detachment is an internal thing, but renunciation is giving up everything. So this person needs to have internal detachment, so eventually they can also give up externally. So renunciation involves both external and internal, and detachment is suitable for, should be followed by everybody, but suitable for everyone. Most people can try and be successful gradually. And renunciation, it is suitable only for some people. Not everybody can handle it. So performing one's duties without attachment to results is called as detachment. But giving up all worldly activities and responsibilities, no connection with the world, and adapting a completely monastic lifestyle, so that is called as renunciation. Detachment means acting in the world while maintaining inner equanimity and detachment. And it is practical for every one of us, because you all are currently students, working professionals, parents. So it's, today you can follow this, you can apply it in your own lives. So it's recommended for those who are not internally detached. If you think, oh, I'm not detached, I'm so attached, it's okay. Everybody starts somewhere. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So we may not be detached, but to develop that, this is the path. So this detachment leads to knowledge and renunciation naturally. What is the knowledge it will lead to? That how this world is temporary, how you're a spirit soul, how things really does not matter. When you die, you're not going to take anything. What you die with is the knowledge that you have gathered. So all these things will come through trying to act with detachment. And renunciation as such is ideal for those people who are completely detached internally and have developed a natural renunciation spirit, that they are okay giving up everything of this world and adapting a monastic lifestyle, so they can physically withdraw from worldly duties. They don't have any worldly duties to do if they are internally detached, and they are ready to give it externally also up. And suitable for some people who have a very high level of internal detachment. So this is the understanding between difference between detachment and renunciation. And usually we all have this question, oh, if renunciation is only best for people with the highest level of detachment and pure mind, what is my mind? Is it completely spiritual? Is it ready to be renounced completely? If you ever have this thought, how much my mind is spiritual? So the only thing you need to check is, where is your mind going to whenever it has a free time? What is the company it is craving for? That shows how spiritual your mind is. Is it craving for, okay, what's happening in Instagram? What is this latest Spotify thing? What is it craving for, all these things? Or is it thinking, oh, can I think about Krishna? Can I chant Krishna's names? What is it thinking of? So understand your nature of your mind, current nature. So you don't need to become depressed. Oh, my mind is such a rascal. No, you don't need to be depressed about it. You don't need to beat yourself. Understand, where is it now? If it is not so spiritual, then we have an opportunity to make it spiritual. We have a project, and be excited about, you have something to do in your life, you have a purpose. So if you want to check if your mind is spiritual, judge it in the sense, the good word, I'm meaning, kind of, the word judge is kind of carries a bad connotation, but what I meant here is, like, analyze your mind by the company it craves for. What is it looking forward to? What is it hankering for? Accordingly, you know how spiritual it is and how much more work is left to do for you. So if you have an exciting project ahead, you have a lot of more things to do. So the reflection exercise for all of us is, think of a time you fulfilled a difficult duty, because Arjuna is having a very difficult duty here and he's just like not willing to do it. Similarly, sometimes we don't want to do, maybe our parents are asking us to do something, asking us to do the laundry cycle, or like was wanting us to go and do something, take care of our own things, or we have a family, or we have a service demand, something that is very difficult to do, but we are supposed to do it. It is our duty, but it's just we are not feeling like doing it. But still, you pushed. Okay, I may just want to watch a football game, but I need to study because tomorrow is an exam. And you push yourself, you discipline yourself, study, and then the next day you really do well in the exam. So what do you understand? Sometimes you have to discipline your mind. If we won't discipline our mind, our lives will become a complete mess. So many people in this world outside are struggling because they cannot discipline their mind. So, if you ever had this experience of disciplining your mind, what did it lead to? Did it lead to some internal growth, some understanding? Yes, if my intelligence is strong, I can control my mind, and it gives you peace. So that's why Rabindranath Tagore said, "I slept and dreamt that life was joy, and I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy." So we all think doing nothing or just enjoying is actual real enjoyment, but actually having purpose in life is real enjoyment. Living for some purpose, living for some purpose and sacrificing for that purpose gives us real internal joy. So whether you are a 10-year-old or whether you are a 50-year-old or a 70-year-old, everybody needs a purpose in life. So develop a higher purpose, not just a very superficial purpose. Develop a deeper purpose, and that will give you eternal joy. So that's what is the section 1. Where are we? Okay, we have good 30 minutes left. So another quote for all of you is, don't avoid your duty because it is hard or sometimes it is not rewarding. But fulfilling that duty will lead to inner purification, will lead you on the level of motivation of duty. If you always think about fear and desire, you are on a very low level of motivation. Think of duty. I'm supposed to do this, let me do it. Maybe the whole world is not watching. Keeping your place clean, the world may not watch you every single day. But if you learn the habit of keeping your place clean, that is your duty, everybody's duty to keep their surroundings clean. But if we learn to do that, it will lead to a better character. You will be known as a clean person. So you will not be, and then that will reflect in everything. You will become more organized in your head. Have you ever read this book, Make Your Bed? It's a very small book, Make Your Bed, the first thing in the morning. So it's a very simple thing, but it sets a culture of discipline, and everything in our lives can become very organized and clean. That's why just because it is something is easy, don't give in to it. Something is difficult, don't give it up. So continue to do your duty. It will lead to internal purification. It will build a character. So building a character is more important than building a social media profile, because tomorrow, say for example, the company Instagram shuts down. What happens to all the people who are making their livelihood, their image, their identity just based on Instagram? I'm not wishing anything for them. I'm glad that they are all like having something to do in life through that. But don't create a false identity. So instead, create a better identity through higher purpose. And having detachment, internal detachment, helps us face disappointments in life without being discouraged. How many of you agree? Any personal thoughts on this quote that you want to share? Gokul, how detachment has helped you? Yes, Parnika.
I mean,
like I don't want to get into the philosophy as much for this because it's very easy to, but I agree with it. Like from a really large perspective, like there are so many people around you, right? Like even if we talk about like loving the people around us, no one will love you the way you love them. It's just not possible, right? And so the more attached you feel to someone, or the more attached you feel to like the things around you, or like for example, even at work or at school, you know, you want something in the way that you think is right, the more attached you keep yourself to it, like to that material thing, then when it doesn't come to fruition, the more upset you will be. And then that will lead to like further reactions, further emotions, right? Like that's how disappointed you get. But if you're detached and you don't let it affect you in the first place, even when something happens or doesn't happen, it will not affect you.
You know who inspired this quote? Like for me to come up with this was my father, because he has some expectations from his family. It's not that, as you rightly said, it's a symptom of Kali Yuga. Parents pour so much love, affection, care, money, everything of their lives, especially like Indian parents, that I means at least my father did so much for me. But it's very difficult for me to reciprocate in the same way. I try my best, being in the position I am. But even my brother, who lives with them, so he's more disturbed about my brother than me, I would say. Like they cannot come, nobody in this world, no relation, no brother-in-law, no sister-in-law, no daughter-in-law, no grandchildren, nobody will be able to fulfill our love the same way we want them to. So that detachment of understanding Krishna as the person who will really understand that, and to have that spiritual knowledge, is much more important to face disappointments. Every one of us will face disappointments in life. The world does not spare anyone, whether you're 10-year-old, whether you're 70-year-old. Disappointment is there in every life. So Gokul may want to go to school and do something that day, but it may happen, may not happen. So disappointments can come to every single one. However, if we are detached, understand life in the right perspective, then we will be not be discouraged. Okay, so getting into the next section, is any closing thought on this first section anyone wants to share? So here, yes, Vibhushan Prabhu.
Prujin, like in this verse number 3, like we spoke that there are two paths of self-realization. Is it the same as, pravitti marg and nivritti marg, or is it something else?
I would say yes and no, because it's all different classifications.
Okay, okay.
However, if you go to different schools of thought, they will use pravritti as very differently. If you go to Mimamsa school, they will use pravritti as karma kanda, sense enjoyment,
Right, right. Yes.
and nivritti as complete detachment. But the kind of thing that we are speaking here is that this pravritti is not sense enjoyment pravritti. This pravritti is detached but dutiful pravritti.
Okay, okay.
Getting the difference?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
So
I
in the first, yes, somebody else,
I,
Pranita?
I had a quick question about renunciation. Does the practice of renunciation, like what yoga does it come under? Like, is it karma yoga? Is it
Usually,
dhyana yoga?
usually it starts with jnana ashtanga,
Okay,
and then in bhakti yoga also there is sannyas.
okay.
So it's in karma yoga, it's not. There is no internal detachment. There is space. For external renunciation, there is no space within karma yoga.